Good evening. We are really excited to have you here to join us for our first women's breakfast for dinner. I'd like to recognize and thank a number of people, two incredible co-chairs, Michelle Hicks and Danielle Serafini, and the entire committee. Thank you so much for all you've done to make this happen. I'd also like to thank our lead sponsor, MFS, Lauren and Joe Mazzella, and Barbara and Ed Shapiro. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do these kinds of events. You know, if you had asked me last October what the year ahead would entail, never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined this past 12 months. 12 months where I had my adult children who returned home to gain refuge from being isolated in their small apartments, or that I would find myself sitting at home working and saving 3 hours a day and commuting. Those were silver linings in my life, and I truly hope that you all can identify some of those silver linings in your own lives as this crisis has been upon us. I have to say, though, that for the children and families experiencing homelessness that we support, this pandemic has been quite a different story, and one that has presented them with almost insurmountable odds. Our families have been hit so hard by COVID. Our child centers closed in March for 4 months. Many of our students ended up quarantined in tiny shelter rooms with their parents with little access to any open space. 95% of our families started to report immediately having food insecurity or an inability to cover their basic family needs. And so many families of ours lost their jobs or had their hours cut back so dramatically that they're truly struggling. But with the help of loyal donors and thanks to the amazing resilience of my staff, we got out there. And during quarantine, our team has worked closely with parents to ensure that all their critical needs were met. 100% of our families have needed and received access to food over this past 6 months. We've provided food, gift cards, books, toys, diapers, wipes, anything we could to help support our families' basic needs. But even during the quarantine, our parents really tried to stay focused on their goals, from completing an education to starting a job training program or securing a job. They continued to focus on trying to make their lives better. 90 new goals have been set by our parents. 41 of them are around employment. 16 parents have started a wonderful new training or an education program. At the encouragement of our staff, many of them, however, are seeking mental health support. This pandemic has been hard on many people's mental health. Many of you may have experienced the same thing. What's exciting, though, is that our classrooms opened in July and our teachers and students returned to work, albeit little different circumstance with all the new health and safety standards. But you can see in this classroom, we've got some plexiglass. We never had that before. And we've got people in masks, but don't let that put you off. Love and compassion is still here. It's being shared every day, and there's much learning that's taking place. Kids are once again comforted by their routines. They know what to expect when they come here. As things look up, we cannot overlook the fact that this pandemic is here to stay for quite a while. A return to normal is not anywhere around the corner. So there's never been a time when your support has been more critical or vital to the families we serve. People often ask me, how does family homelessness happen in this country, and why don't I see it? Why am I not aware of it? And the answer is that the jobs that used to allow families access to the American dream or the upward mobility of living in the middle class have been on the decline for 30 years. The poor in our country are truly living paycheck to paycheck. Only one step away, one illness, one car breaking down, from really losing their grip and their financial stability. Family homelessness is not new, and it's not on the decline. And frankly, at this moment, it has the potential to dramatically increase with this pandemic. Much of it, but not all of it, is rooted in systemic racism, as many Black and brown families do not have access to high-quality housing, jobs, healthcare, or education. Why aren't you aware of these families? Because they hide to safeguard their children. They hide doubled up in apartments with relatives and friends, or in cars, emergency rooms, or wherever they can find, frankly. And the lucky few, about 30%, end up in shelter. But what I do know is that we should do better as a nation and as a state. At Horizons, we know this begins with education, and particularly high-quality early education, with mental health support and other services to help get these children school ready. School readiness has been a proven indicator of later life success. That's why we stay so focused on that with the children that we serve. We also believe that parents, given the right tools and some support, can and will work to achieve economic self-sufficiency. How do we know? Because we see it every day at Horizons. This is why we're so incredibly excited to be opening the doors of the new Edgerly Family Horizons Center in April. We're going to be able to welcome 50 more children and their families into our program. This state-of-the-art facility is taking shape right now as we speak and will provide our children and families with a source of inspiration and engagement. This incredible progress and bright future is possible thanks to your help. Thank you again for being here tonight and being our partners in making progress possible for families experiencing homelessness. You're going to have a wonderful evening. Angie Thomas is truly thoughtful, thought-provoking, and inspiring. Have a wonderful night.